Okay, what's up, Trading View? We are doing a little bit later session this evening. Usually I have a video out about 2 hours before now, but we're going to start off on our daily time frame. We're going to be checking out XAU USD, and obviously when we're marking down, I say marking down, not marking up, but as we're marking down on XAU, we're going to be starting off on our daily time frame. And as we're observing our daily, there's a couple crucial things that we're paying attention to right now, which is this. We have a 1, 2, and now we have a third touch up here. So there's 3 touches. 3 touches usually in a flag is some sign of continuation or a sign of reversal. In this situation, that would count as a third, and then we'd be looking down here for the third touch for a potential drop. So that would be down here, get some type of rejection or move down. So we're going to be looking at these areas. I'll leave these on here for right now, but let's go ahead now. Let's drop down into our 4-hour time frame. And actually, before we drop down, I want to stop here on the daily, and I want us to look at this area of price here. This was an area where price came wick down and then immediately went back up, and it's never collected this area before. So first things first, I know we're on the daily, but because of all the price that has to be filled over here in this area, this now becomes a weekly liquidity zone for me, not a daily, because again, price has to fill this entire area. And since I'm on the daily, each candle on here is 1 day exactly. So therefore, I'm going to mark this a weekly liquidity zone, even though it would probably take a little more than a week for this to fill out. We're just going to leave it there. So we're going to go ahead now. We're going to drop down to our 4-hour time frame. And now, first things first, I see a bit of a flag forming here, almost in a descending nature, meaning that it's going in a downward slant. And also, I'm spotting this area here. Now I'm going to tighten this up. I'm not going to draw it over top of this because now I have lines. Like if we zoom in real quick, if I draw this trend line all the way through here, it's just going to confuse you. So what you want to do is you want to kind of button up just right beside it, not all the way through, until we get some sort of indication that price either wants to move higher. Obviously, then this trend line would almost be like a support area. But for now, we can leave this and wait for price to give us an indication it wants to drop. And therefore, we would wait for some type of flag here. And then a continuation to the downside into this area. So before we start, pinpointing what we're looking for exactly, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we had a lower high here that got broke, and this formed a new lower high, new higher low, and then we haven't broke this zone, but instead we tested this zone, okay? So that was our last lower high, and we haven't gotten a new lower high yet. Instead, we tested and we've rejected off of it. So I'd be curious to see if price wants to come up and form just a little bit of another lower high in some form of manner like this, and still not break our higher high, which I'm not going to be upset if it, as far as it goes with structure, if it breaks our higher high. Honestly, it's going to be more so in our favor if it does break our higher high, because then we can wait for price to break it and then give us some sort of information where we can get a test of that, maybe a pull back into the area, and then see if price wants to go higher from there. So let's go ahead. We're going to go down into our 1-hour time frame now. And as we're dropping down into our 1 hour, I want to point out a couple of patterns that we traded these past 2 weeks. So the first one was this area here. We had a wedge just like that. or price pushed up, there's a flag on the 15-minute time frame here, and then also there's a flag in the 1 hour here, like so. And then we also got a repeat of that right here as well. So there's a couple buying opportunities. Again, there's one on a buying opportunity here on the 15. So 1 trade, 2 trades, 3 trades. We also had a trade here in this area. But those were some flags that may have not been easily spotted per se, right? But I want us to look at this because we had this ascending channel right here. And where the ascending channel was, it was very tricky because we had this lower high that had formed, where we had a lower high here, a higher low, a lower high, higher low. And then now that we got it, we got a break above in price, where price now pushed back on top of this, where it acted as a support area. Yeah, a support area here. Price pushed above, rejected, came back, gave us another flag, and then price continued up, gave us a flag here, and then price again pushed up one more time. Now, what's cool is that ascending channels give such a different variety of information. So depending where your ascending channel is placed, it tells a whole different story. So for example, it being in the middle of structure here of us just breaking this lower high, in my mind, it's not telling me that price is going to reverse, okay, because we're getting this bit of slowed down price action. And instead, it's more so telling a story that it wants to continue. So now we're getting a descending channel, and more of like you would almost label it like a steeper flag, but it's more so just a descending channel. And now I have to be careful of drawing this too early. Okay, so we could almost take that off because the only bit of reliable information I have is this top part of this flag. And then what I could do is, since that's not a reliable thing to do on the bottom yet, because you got to think about it. We're on the 1 hour. So this is only 1 hour that price has rejected from down there and now pushed back up. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not really giving me a full picture. But now in this scenario on the top, we've had one push away, we got a test, slight move, another test, and price push down. So I can count on this top trend line a lot more than I can on the bottom trend line. So instead of doing that on the bottom, what I want to look at is this zone that we have right here. And now in the zone, we have a common trend of price. Once it breaks below the zone, we usually get a test and then a drop like this. Look, we broke through, we came back up, tested the zone, and then we dropped. So in this situation, what I would love to see is not so forcing this trade, but see it break. And then we're going to look in just a second for some possible targets. Form almost a flag, dip down, catch people on the wrong side of the market, push back up, test our area, and then continue down, giving us this bigger flag formation here. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do now is we're going to drop down into our lower time frames, because now our lower time frames is where I find a majority of our liquidity spots. And liquidity being areas of price where the market never came back to and fulfilled. So the first one that I'm noticing is here. So let's delete this off. Let's delete this off. And when you're done with your patterns, like, yeah, it's good to kind of keep them on so you have an idea of what's happened in the market, but don't let it cloud your chart where it's going to distort your viewpoint. So here, that one right there is going to be a 4 hour, because I'm looking at the time frame of when these things will probably fill out or not fill out. So that's something I'm keeping in my mind. There's a 4 hour, and then I'm going to drop down into our 15-minute. See a spot here. that's definitely going to be a 1 hour. And then never got that area filled, so something I want to keep an eye on. So that's a tough one. Not really, but you would have to have some discretion in there. So I'm going to move this back because I know it's acting as a support in this area because I see it rejecting here. It's rejecting off of that. We got a wick down off of it. So what we'd love to see is some type of breakdown. Now look, if price is going to break through this area, it's going to break through this area. It's not going to be slow. It's probably going to immediately come down, tag this, and we get some type of movement back up where we now had this bit of a trend line, kind of breaks it or tests it again. But if we do get a clear breakthrough, we'd wait to see how it rejects in this area to see if it wants to continue to go higher. Because at that point, then it's just forming a bit of a steeper flag, and you would look to take a trade into here for some potential highs. But if we do get a breakdown here, we'd love to see it break below, then give us some type of pullback. Because getting a clear break below this area is an indication that we might come down and grab all of these down here in this area there. But if not, we just want to pay attention because at the end of the day, upward flag, upward flag, one more move up, potentially forming new highs. So you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of the market right now, trying to force your opinion, especially if you just want to participate because you see gold is in a higher, you see gold in a higher volatility area. You know, we're at the last high, price is kind of moving sideways. You feel like you want to participate, but especially in areas just like this, you want for the market to tell you what it wants to do, not again forcing your opinion onto the trade and then getting in a trade just for the sake of participating in a trade. Because then a couple things are going to happen. You're going to lose the trade. You're going to get stopped out by wicks because we're in a very indecisive place in the market. The fact that you're seeing the market move sideways as we're moving into this important area where we're near the last high, okay? The fact that we're near the last high and you're starting to get this, it says a lot that the market's super indecisive of which direction that it wants to go right now. So in areas where it's indecisive, you're going to start to get a bunch of these wicks. And we're going into Wednesday, so you still have Thursday and Friday. And Thursday and Friday are usually your bigger days in the market. And Wednesdays we get usually maybe some type of reversal day. So instead of trying to catch the reversal day, catching the very top or catching the very bottom, you want to find the best area of price and able to participate in the market. It's not about getting the best price. It's about getting a good deal, a fair deal, in order to, buy at a decent price and sell at a decent price, sell at a decent price and then buy it at a decent price. So yeah, there's where we're at on gold. We have some beautiful market structure. Like, don't get me wrong, but if we were doing a short term, we would have had a flag here. Okay, and then most people, this is a wedge. So like common sense, if you're like a pattern trader or you think you're a pattern trader, you have this wedge form up to here. You're gonna be taking buys back above this area, and then you enter early because you see it hit the third touch. Okay, your third touch into here. So you enter the trade, market goes up, you think you're in profit, and then you place your stop loss below here and below here, and now the market's tagged you out. Because that's exactly how these things, play out. You get this, okay, that's what you would have had if you're not waiting for price to develop. In the market, again, you see it come down because you're trying to participate early. You enter in here, market goes up, or you enter in here, and then you place your stop losses back below the trend line and then below this, and then price comes back, takes you out of the market, and now it's still trying to figure out what you're doing. So there's no money in the market right now. There's absolutely zero money or zero indication that there is money inside of the market. We're just floating. So wait for the move, and then wait for the real move, right? Usually first move that you're going to get is going to be your mass psychology, catching people and everybody on the wrong side of the market. And then your second move is where you can actually get in and participate. So there's XAU USD. That's what I'm looking at today. If you haven't already, go ahead. Be sure to follow me here on TradingView. I'll post these markups all the time. I'm going to be a little more. I'm not going to be posting every single day. I'm going to be more attuned to how I'm actually posting. So you're going to see me post on your Sunday breakdown, and then you might see me post on, Monday, Wednesday, and then Thursday evening. So you're going to see me kind of post more aligned with how I'm trading inside of the market. We took one buy here this morning. We took a buy up. That one went for 100 points, and then we took a buy here. Oh, and that one I called live. We took a buy into this position last week. Was it last week? No, it was Sunday. I don't know what I'm thinking. It was Sunday. Took a buy, and that one went for, almost 500 pips just off that long position. And it's not hard to catch these moves. It's about being patient. If you're patient enough for the market to show you what it wants to do, it's not that there's so many moves. It's the fact that there are quality moves, especially right now where we're at inside of the market cycle. You're going to be catching moves that are on a minimum side of 100 points, and then on an average side of 200 to 300, and then on a bigger side like this one that played out, and that one was a 500 pip move. And that one only took a day for it to make 500 pips. So you just have to think, like, is it worth waiting a week in order to put yourself in the position to get some type of clarity in the market, right? Because this one formed up from the 8th of August to the 11th of August. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So you had 3 days that this market was indecisive, and you had people jumping in and out because they don't want to miss a trade. They have fear of missing out. And instead of waiting patiently, they miss out on these bigger moves where the market is, all you have to do is follow the trend. Where's the money going? Follow the money. You don't have to predict what's going to happen exactly next. So hopefully you enjoyed this markup of gold. This one was super in-depth and pretty educational. So yeah, I will catch you next session. Keep an eye out, turn your notifications on if you haven't. And yeah, I will be sharing these as often and as much as I can. So till next time, peace.